Hello and welcome to another YouTube tutorial. In this tutorial I will teach you how to make your own tiles like chairs, tables or pots. I will teach you the basics and a nice way to make your own. I will also teach you a quick and nice way to make rooms that are easy to reuse, recolor, that will save you a lot of time. Go to the image folder, then go to tilesets. Open two images. It doesn't really matter what image you open. We are gonna make new art today anyways. But open two of these images because they are the exact same size we need them to be to function as tile sets in RPG Maker. So for the first one, just delete everything on the image. We want it to be blank. And on the second image, we don't really need to delete everything, we can just delete the things we are replacing. Then click image, then configure grid and make sure that the grid is 48 by 48. We need this to be the standard on everything we make actually in RPG Maker, so do this on both images. Also click image and then show grid. On the first image, we're gonna draw the tile objects. We could do the Frankenstein method and just copy parts of these images and remake them into tables and such. That would actually work, and I will kind of show you why later. So you can delete these and these as well. We will draw within, yeah, we can delete these. And lastly, the pots. We're gonna draw a pot as well. So, okay, now that they are gone, we can start drawing. So, for an object like a table, you need to use the square tool because a table, especially in a 2D game, usually are set up in only using squares. There are of course round tables, but in this one I'm just gonna teach you a simple square table. Find a nice brown main color for the table, and then once you have filled both of these grids, make a smaller square that's longer and add a darker shade of the same color underneath it, so it gives sort of like a dimension to the table, if that makes any sense. Now, use the square tool, mark what you just draw, copy it, delete it, and then repaste it. The reason you're doing this is because we're going to use the smudge tool, and now we can just freely draw within this without drawing outside of the square tool or the selected area we got. Make a dark dot down on the right and a lighter one on the top. Delete the top and repaste again. And now I'm showing you why. And only smudge using the smudge tool outwards. If you smudge inwards, you will remove parts of the image. And now you just pretend you're painting. Just smudge the colors around to give the table some nice details. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time doing this. I'm gonna just teach you or show you the basics. So have the darker colors maybe on the bottom and on the right side, and all of the lighter colors on the top and on the left side, because that's, in this game at least, where the light will hit. So the light is hitting on the left and the top, so it's lighter, and the light is not hitting on the bottom and the right side, so it's darker. Now, sort of do the same thing for the little part under the table. Copy it, delete it, paste it, and then use the smudge tool and smudge around like this. And for the table feet, I'm not sure if that's the English word for it, but the table feet, the things holding the table up. Make a smaller square that resemble the table feet, and then make it darker on the right, the standard color in the middle, and a lighter color on the left side. And on the part where the table feet is just visible, make a darker color resembling shadow casting on it. Now we can just mark the area we want to make darker and go to colors, and then we just turn down the color so it gets darker. If you're not planning on using the smudge tool, you can actually use this method instead on the entire image. Just mark the area you want to be brighter and turn up the brightness, and mark the areas you want to be darker and turn down the brightness. It saves a lot of time. Yeah, we want to copy the shared feet and place them on the correct spot on the table. There we go, it looks okay. I'm making it very basic here, so it won't overwhelm you, if that makes any sense to you. We can try and use a cartoon filter. In this case, I think it's a good idea. It helps do some of the work for us. So, what I was talking about earlier, about the Frankenstein method, if that word is new to you, it's because it's a word I've used sometimes in my earlier tutorials. If you have now a square that you are proud of, you can actually just reuse that square when drawing new things needing a square. So you don't have to start the process all over again every time. So now I'm just gonna copy the square and I'm gonna scale it down. But the problem about scaling the image down in most softwares is that the image will become blurry and the edges will lose some of its opacity. So you want to just copy it once you've scaled it right away, Control C, and then just repaste it many times in a row. That will help smoothing out the edges, so it restores the opacity back to normal. It's just a little tip. Now I'm using my famous Frankenstein method. I'm just copying parts of the table image I just finished and reuse parts of it for the share. It saves you a lot of time and people won't notice. Or some people will, but you can't please them all. Make sure that the top of the share is lighter than the bottom part. So turn up the brightness. And we can try and use the cartoon filter. So just mark it with the square tool. Go to and locate the cartoon filter. And just play around. Sometimes the cartoon filter doesn't work at all. So you don't have to do this. This is just an old habit. So then we will make a sort of different image. Now we're gonna make a pot, and a pot is usually a round and not a square. So now we can make a circle image instead. It would be a good idea actually to just make an image where you make different shapes and just save them and reuse them every time you're going to make something new. So you have different types of circles and squares, and then you use my famous Frankenstein method and just create objects using the objects you have created. So on a circle, make sure that the right side is darker on the edges. The middle part is the main color, if you will, and the top is lighter, like this. Now you have given it sort of more dimensions. This looks okay. Didn't take me more than a couple of, I don't know, minutes or seconds. And this one could have been used for many things. If you turned up the brightness, it could even have been an eyeball, or a ball, or an egg, right? So making a lot of circles and squares is a good idea because you can use them for a lot. And when making the top of the pot, try and make a circles that sort of look like this. It gotta be smaller, and it gotta be placed on the top. And you will follow the same principle. So lighter on the left and the top, and darker on the right and the bottom side. And on the middle of this circle, you want a very much darker color, but that will come last. So first a sort of darker color, and then you will add a much darker color, maybe blacking. So that would be like the inside of the pot. This looks good enough. I would recommend just drawing basic pixel art and not using this much tool. I'm just doing this to exaggerate the images so you get a better idea on how to use the colors, but it's actually a lot easier to just don't smudge and just use basic colors. So yeah, and underneath here, just take the pencil and take the opacity very much down to around 10 or 12, and try and little by little, step by step, add a darker color underneath the top of the pot, because that will be like the shadow. You can even do this like here as well. So yeah, this looks okay, I guess. We can try and use the cartoon filter. Oh god, the cartoon filter. Sorry. And sometimes it helps just adding more color variations and such to the image. I guess we're done with this now. So it's meant to be just an example, right, for you to. So you don't need to use any filters or anything like that. So yeah, what's important to remember is the edges of the square objects need to be darker, so it actually resembles edges. Now we're done with the image. We can export it. Make sure you don't overwrite anything like I'm doing here. So I would name it something new that's easy to remember, like object template 1 or something. And yeah, over to the easy and nice way to make rooms for RPG Maker. Go to image, configure grid, make sure that the grids are 48 by 48 again. Then go to image and show grid. I'm gonna speed up now because I'm gonna draw something very, very basic, and I will follow all of the same principles I've been going through already. So I will just crank up the music and speed up here. So see you guys in the future. Oh, before I go, remember to draw within the grids. That's important. Very, very important. See you guys later. So, I'm back. What's important to see on this image is that I have drawn everything within the grids. So the wall is within their own grids, the floor is within their own grids, and the top or the sides of the room are within its own grids. So then you can export the image, and I will show you something interesting, because you can actually manually draw every room in your game like this, and just skip drawing chairs and tables and such on this image. You want that on a separate image, and I will show you why very soon. Copy inside room, a standard inside room, because they are I will show you that as well soon. Copy it, paste it on a new spot, name it something that you will remember, and now we need to add the new images. There we go. I can't really. Yeah, here it is. And on for the objects. It's been a while since I used RPG Maker. I've stopped using it, so this is the first time in a long time. Let me see. Where are the? Oh yeah, here. So find the new image we made, and in my case, this is the image. Now we need to check if the built-in collisions in RPG Maker are correct. So circle means you can walk on it, cross means you cannot walk on it, and star means you can walk behind it. So make sure that everything is okay. And this is why, as I mentioned, you should copy already existing standard inside image, because if the things you draw are on the same place as the old one, they should have the same properties. So here on this room image we made, you need to make sure that all of the floor is circles, because you should be able to walk on it, and everything outside of the room must be circles as well. This is because sometimes you, by a mistake, add one of these spots to your image, and you get confused later because in certain areas you cannot walk, and that's because these are set to maybe across. So make sure that everything is like it should be on absolutely everything. And the good thing about the room image that we made is that it's been drawn within the grids. That means it's actually just copy and paste and simple work for us now to implement it into the game. And I will show you something cool we can do with the share table and stuff that we made as well. And sorry if I come off as sleepy and confused, it's because I have had very little sleep tonight. So I'm not drunk, if that's what you were thinking. Now we gotta make the room, so create a new map, name it something that makes sense to you. Also make sure that we use the same tile set here that we just added. So to show you the magic, we take here one part of the room and you just place it wherever you want, and then we locate the other part of the room. Oh, there it is. And just copy that in, and now we don't need to draw anything, and you can make your custom art in for every room inside of GIMP or wherever you are using, and just create rooms like this. And this would function just as a room would in RPG Maker, like the standard tileset types anyway, because you've already placed the crosses where they need to be and the circles where they need to be. And here we just add the new objects we have created, and I can show you how this would look like in game. I did not spend a lot of time on this art is just tutorial art for you to not be overwhelmed by. Um, and now we can playtest perhaps and see how it looks like in game. This current project I got here is a project inside of a huge project that I was working on earlier. Uh, my main game, that is, A Broken Tale, so this might load and take a while. A Broken Tale is no longer being made in RPG Maker, it's being made in a different game engine. Maybe I will try and make tutorials on other game engines eventually. Here is the old loading screen for A Broken Tale. And here we go. Let's see. And this looks... I don't know what you think. I think it's pretty cool. So, yeah. You got a functioning room. You got your own chairs. You got your own table and even your own pot. This is a very okay and nice way to work. You could even literally make outside areas in your entire game like this, as long as you draw within the grids. And the reason you need to draw within the grids is because you need to have control using the circles and squares and stars where the players are supposed to be able to walk, not walk, or go behind. So this is a very nice way for you to make custom graphic for your game. Hopefully this wasn't confusing. Hopefully you followed along, and I'm sorry if I sounded a bit tired and sleepy today. I'm very grateful that you are watching this, and comment if there's something you didn't understand. Comment if there's something you want me to make a tutorial of. And yeah, hopefully also the Beginner's Guide to Custom Art series will soon get a new episode. It's been a while and I'm very sorry about that. I will finish the series. This is not part of that series. This is just a tutorial I felt I needed to make because I'm not sure if there are many of these out there. Yeah, thank you for watching. This is me from NoLoot Studios. I hope this helps. Smash the shit out of the dislike button if not. Click the like button if it helped. And I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe.